Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great evening. It's Sunday night and we are going to do a Q&A. So I will knock the questions out. I had asked earlier this week just some questions that people had, then I wrote them down. I was going to come on here and just answer your questions. Sometimes when I do a Facebook Live, I feel like it's hard for me to scroll through and read everybody's questions, so I just figured this would be an easier way. So I'm going to start from top to bottom. I'll answer the questions that you asked. If you ask or if you've got other questions, you can post below and I'll try to get those as well. I also want to honor your time because I feel like sometimes when Facebook Lives get so long, it's not fun to listen to all of them or listen to the whole thing. So, okay, we're going to knock these questions out. A lot of people had questions. Question number one is, why did we start keto? How do we incorporate with our family? And why are our kids eating that way? So what's funny is I didn't start it. My husband did. My husband did the ketogenic diet. He watched Dr. Dominic D'Agostino. He really studied the biohack movement. He was studying ketones for a year before I was on board at all. I helped him fail tremendously. And so what I mean by that is cooking lasagnas and garlic bread and pizza. I mean, everything I cooked, he would try so hard. I feel so bad now thinking about it. He would get to this point where he was feeling so good and then I would cook something and he'd fall off. And it was my fault. So I will tell you this, that it is important in your home to try to have everybody in unity, but it takes a while. I was the last one on board. My kids loved vegetables. They loved all the food he made before I did. Then I realized how important it was because I started listening to the podcast he was listening to. I watched some videos by Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, and I just started studying and understanding the power of ketones. And I watched my husband transform his body. I mean, nothing had worked for him. I mean, he's always been to health and fitness, but he always struggled with a couple of little areas. He would come home from work and be exhausted. He didn't want to play with the kids. There were so many little things that I saw change when he incorporated the ketogenic diet. That's where your body's producing ketones. Very strict diet. I thought he was crazy. This was before there was a product that we love. So it wasn't me. The reason that we switched our family to eating this way is the more I watched Steve, the more I just did some research, I understood the power of ketones. A lot of people think ketogenic diet, they think two things. Well, three things. Ketoacidosis. First of all, that's for diabetics. Second of all, they'll think about a diet, so they'll think fat loss, right, or weight loss, or they'll think crazy, oh my goodness, I totally lost my mind. Three things. Ketogenic diet, epilepsy, epilepsy. So those three things, super strict diet, epilepsy, or ketoacidosis, diabetics. And so, but the more I researched, the more I found out that it's way more than fat loss, and it's not just for those epilepsy patients. Ketones are so powerful. If you just go Google ketones and whatever you're dealing with, you will find some third-party research that is phenomenal about ketones and the brain and ketones and just how your body functions. And so when I learned about that, and then when I watched and kind of looked at how I was feeding our family, I was like, I'm not doing a very good job. And for example, I mean, I would probably eat a frozen pizza every day. That's just, I love frozen pizza, corn dogs, chicken nuggets. Our vegetables were in a can, creamed corn. I mean, it was pretty bad. And here's the deal. I had this other question that people said, like, did you do it cold turkey? No. It took me learning. It was a process. It was probably 6 to 8 months before I felt comfortable and knew what I was doing, before I was comfortable eating even high fat, going, I can cook things in butter. Should I not feel bad about this? I mean, we are so ingrained to eat lean. We are so ingrained to eat low fat. And what you don't understand is the majority of the time when you're eating something, when the fat is taken out, sugar's put in. And so the biggest thing I was learning is we made it a game in our family. We would go grocery shopping, we would flip the foods around, and we'd be like, holy cow, there is 58 grams in this one healthy bar. Or there's 36 grams of sugar in our yogurt. And we just started making it a game. And I didn't preach to my children saying, no, you can't have that. I was educating myself and educating them at the same time. So little things like when I finally decided not to buy goldfish anymore, we'd find a replacement. We stopped buying little things like Debbie snacks or fruit snacks. Yes, I used to love them and eat them by the box. Ugh. But it was one thing at a time, trying to find a replacement for that thing. And we didn't we just tried hard to keep it as simple as possible. So the second question was, what does our meals look like? I'll cover that at the end. But the biggest thing is, don't get overwhelmed. This is the easiest thing I've ever done because I eliminated a majority of the grocery store. I walk in, go to the organic section because there's some things I like. I go around, grab eggs. I like almond milk. We go all the way around, grab the vegetables, the meats, the butters, and you make kind of a vegetables and all the things. You don't have to go in all the aisles. So we keep it simple. We have eggs, bacon, or sausage for breakfast. That's just how we do it. There's a really cool saying that I heard. You can either live to eat or eat to live. Do you want to fuel your body and look for meals and things that are going to make you feel better? Or are you completely focused on, when you're so ingrained with sugar and carbs and your body's craving that, it's almost like it controls you, and that's how your brain's like, when's my next meal? Where's my next treat? What am I going to eat? But if you keep it in your house, it's easy accessible. If you don't, you can't eat it. And so somebody was like, well, what can I eat besides eggs for breakfast? What does your family eat? Sometimes we just have sausage. Sometimes we just have bacon. If you can find a really good keto muffin, make those. If you just go to Pinterest, my favorite thing, Pinterest keto meals. There are so many different options. If you have to be dairy-free, go Pinterest keto dairy-free meals. There's a bazillion recipes out there, but we've kept it simple. Eggs, bacon, sausage. Sometimes I make them like a little blended berry little thing in the blender. And then for lunches, we do super simple things. We do ham, cream cheese, pickle roll-ups. We do leftovers. We do lettuce wraps. My kids love salad. I can just throw some meat, cheese, and pork rinds on the table, and they're completely fine. Don't overthink it. And then for supper, we always have some type of meat. I cook everything in butter or vegetables, and my kids just know that. Tonight, I had some cauliflower, some chicken broth, some Italian sausage. I mixed it all into a soup, and the kids loved it. Just don't overthink it. Pinterest is your friend. Google is your friend. I can send you some. I kind of have it laid out, an idea of what we eat, so I can post that below. I will after this, of just an idea of our meals and then some websites that I use. So don't overthink that part of it. Let me see. So a lot of people ask me about Keto-OS in these questions, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can do the strict ketogenic diet, and you can eat a great, approximately 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbs. Some people will argue with you and say more protein versus fat. Some people say more fat versus protein. There's so many mixed reviews out there. But whatever you decide to do and whatever works for you, you can do that. Or there's a product that we take that gives you the ketones, exogenous ketones. You put it in water and you drink it. So I've had a lot of questions about this. So the first question was, I hate saying is what's the best time to drink this? So everybody's a little different. This isn't a one size fits all. It's not, it works the exact same way for everybody. So I get up in the morning at 5 o'clock. This is recently within the last 3 months. I get up in the morning and I take this. I go to the gym at 5 a.m. Then I come home. I usually cook some eggs or sausage for the girls at like 8:30, eat breakfast. I go about my day doing the best I can, low carb, high fat, or keto, depending on where my goals are that week or what I'm doing. And then I actually take a second one during the day, and I usually take this one around 2 o'clock, depending on how I feel. First of all, it curbs my cravings. I usually want something sweet. I love the chocolate one. It's my favorite. I didn't always take 2 a day. So I used to not work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. My normal day was, nope. Yep, in a little bit. My normal day, life as a mom, right? My normal day was I would get up. This is before I used to try to eat or work out. I would get up in the morning, and then I would be crazy, try to eat with my kids and get our homeschooling done. And then I would just take one in the morning, and that's all I took, 1 a day. You don't have to take 2 a day, but if you want to, you financially can afford it. Is it helpful? Yes. So this product doesn't last in your system 24 hours a day. So this is to help you with your ketones. If you already do a strict keto diet, guess what? That's awesome. My husband did that for a long time. This got his blood ketone up higher. Helps with your cravings, helps with your focus, helps more energy. It's just better. If you don't want to do the strict diet and you want to make it a lifestyle approach, that's what I did. And so I took the product, I increased my water intake, I got out some of the bad foods out of our house, and then from there I gradually worked and made it a lifestyle. Like we talked about before, getting one thing out, bringing one healthy thing in. I take this every day. I love it. There are some people who say, well, I can't afford it, or I don't want to take it every day. I'm super strict keto, but what happens if I fall off? There are some people that will just have some in their cupboard or in their pantry, and if they fall out of ketosis on the weekend, if they go to a birthday party, it helps them to get them back on track, and then they go about their day. So I can help you with that if you got more questions on how it might work for you. The next question is, and lastly, should I skip a meal? This isn't a meal replacement. It's not a protein shake. It is a ketone supplement. It's got ketones in it. You drink it, and what your liver will produce, it puts those straight into your bloodstream. Now, people will say, You're just going to pee them out. Well, guess what? You can test it in your blood. It is tested. It is proved. We've got some of the leading researchers and doctors and scientists on board that are testing it and making it work. It's phenomenal. So you will pee out the stuff that your body doesn't use. I will tell you this. If you're going to eat the average American diet and take the product, which sometimes people do, it'll last a less amount of time because your body can be a dual fuel system. It can run off of glucose and ketones. But if you're going to do low carb, high fat, or keto, or watch your foods, and you're going to take the product, it's going to last longer. So we can talk more specifically. If you've got questions, message me. I can tell you about that. Okay. And so I also should say this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a researcher. I'm a mom. I've got 4 girls. I homeschool them, and I've just learned. I've just researched. I've watched my husband. We have joined a company called Pruvit. We've been around the community of people who love this, and as you learn, you just learn. So I've learned from a lot of doctors, like Dr. Nally. He's a phenomenal doctor in Arizona. I believe you can follow him on Facebook, Dr. Adam Nally, and he's great. And he has treated all of his patients with the ketogenic diet for years and years and years. And he always makes 3 to 4 minute videos on his Facebook page covering ketones and something. So he's great to follow as well. Okay, next question. Nuts. I had this lady say, okay, I always overdo it on nuts. This is a great question. When you buy a can of nuts, she said specifically cashews, whatever nuts you decide to buy those little snack baggies, and before you even decide to eat them, portion out the nuts into snack baggies, put them in your cupboard so that when you are hungry, grab one snack bag, not the entire jar, because it's really easy to overdo eating nuts. And then also people asked about dairy. So if you're researching the ketogenic diet, you'll see that a lot of people use heavy whipping cream. They cook everything in butter. They're eating a lot of cheeses. Not everybody can handle dairy, and this isn't a one-size-fits-all, so you have to find what works for you. My husband can't eat a lot of dairy. I can. It doesn't affect me the way it affects him. So you have to figure that out for yourself. Sometimes people can have a little bit of dairy, or I have listened to other nutritionists, other specialists that say if you're stalling on your weight, there's a couple things. Like if you're doing low carb, high fat, if you're doing the strict diet, the keto diet, or if you're just taking the product, but if you're eating a lot of dairy or a lot of nuts, that really could hold back on your weight, your fat loss. Or a lot of people don't think about stress and sleep and how that affects your body. If you're stressed out and maybe you can't help it because of your job or whatever it is, those things help your body hold on to weight too. So let's see. The next question is kids and Keto-OS or kids and ketones. Again, my children are not eating this way to lose fat loss or weight loss. That's not my goal. I understand the power of ketones and just their brain. So that's why I give it to them. I just truly believe it helps them. I've listened to a lot of doctors. I've gotten to go to a lot of different conferences to listen to these doctors for days and days. And I can't even pretend to spew out to tell you what they say, but I come out of those going, they're so powerful. I wish I could tell you molecularly all of the things that it does. But to me, it makes sense for me to eat this way and for me to let my kids have this. I'll have people that'll say, it's so unhealthy for you to do that. Why in the world would you feed your kids butter? And why in the world would you not let them have X, Y, and Z? And this is what my conclusion is, and I come back to all the time. You tell me, is it better for me to feed my kids healthier meats? My kids can have cheese, vegetables, organic butter, all of that. Or do you want me to go back to eating Doritos, frozen pizzas, corn dogs, and chicken nuggets? Because I guess it doesn't, I get hounded all the time, and you have to build up your confidence to know why you're doing it. Notice how you're feeling, and you can't let people bother you, because I feel great. My family feels great. I've only seen benefits of how we've changed our diet, that when people give me grief about it, I'm just like, if you want me to go back to eating chicken nuggets and corn dogs, I'm pretty sure that's not healthy. So you just have to be firm in what you're doing. I give my kids Keto-OS every day. They love it. I love it. We drink it. As far as somebody to ask about how much to give your kids, there's not specific measurements right now from Pruvit on how much to give your kids. So I have 4 girls. Right now they are 9, 7, 5, and 3. I used to split one packet between everybody. The 9-year-old would get this much, 7, 5, 3. Now my 9-year-old just loves it. I usually let her have a half a packet, sometimes a full packet. They do take caffeine free. And then the 3 other girls share one. So you can start out slow. Dr. Dominic D'Agostino says, start with a teaspoon, just something small, mix it up in water, have them drink it. So, and you can go from there. And lifestyle versus diet. The biggest thing we do is lifestyle in our house versus a diet. If you are looking to, everybody asks me like how many carbs, how to track your macros. MyFitnessPal is, there's lots of keto calculators out there. If you want to get a visual of how much you're eating, people always say, well, how much fat do you eat? I don't track my food anymore. In the beginning, my husband and I did. We used MyFitnessPal. It's free. There's so many people that use it. It's easy to use. You can track all of your food. At the end of the day, there's a nutrition button, and it'll show you a little pie chart. It'll show you where your macros are. It'll say carbs, proteins, fats. And then you can say like, whoa, I have 50% carbs, or holy cow, I have a ton of protein. Oh, my fat's really low. Depending on your goals, it's a good visual. You can kind of tweak it from there. Once you got an idea and you do it for a couple weeks, you really shouldn't have to track your food anymore because you just know kind of how to eat. A lot of women that I know are working towards a lifestyle approach, not a diet, are counting their carbs to about 50. They're taking the product, they're watching their carbs, they want low carb, high fat. They're just not doing the strict keto diet where it's like under 20 carbs. They don't want to go that low, but it's completely up to you. And there's lots of keto calculators out there. You could Google keto calculator and find which one that works for you. We talked about dairy, kids. Oh, nope, we didn't go cold turkey. We talked about that. Somebody said keto bars. Like, is there a keto bar to eat? Again, Pinterest is my friend. The biggest thing I would challenge you on, and I tell everybody, is you can't just read the front of the box, which sometimes obviously boxes are, we shouldn't always eat those. But like, we went to the store when we were on our last vacation, and I was like, well, these are our only options. The girls were hungry. 36 grams of carbs in a very nutritious so-called bar. And so it's just really educating yourself, again, making it a game. Sometimes they have to eat it, sometimes they don't, but if you can choose different snacks. So instead of going through all of our snacks when I end this, I'm going to post how we eat. I'm going to post some of the websites that we use as far as meals and things like that. I'm going to scroll through and see if anybody else has questions. What is Keto-OS? Alex, I'll message you about what Keto-OS is. It's a ketone product. So you drink it, puts ketones in your blood. So your body uses them. As soon as it hits your blood system, your body knows exactly what to do with them. Helps with energy, focus, fat loss, better skin, better sleep. There's so many benefits to ketones. You can go Google or just find some third-party research about ketones and whatever you're dealing with. And so I think I covered all the questions. If you have specific apps that you love to use as far as tracking food, please share below because it's always great. We always say collaboration is key. We are better together. If you've got something that works for you, share below because people will be watching this. So I love that part of it. The chocolate is my favorite. And yes, I'm going to talk really quick about the ones that we have. So if you're interested at all, I do a 5-day experience where I send out 5-day experiences. You can try all the flavors without committing to a month of just one. Send them out. Walk you through how to take it, see what you think. And so really quick, we've got the first one. This one has dairy in it. So if you can't have dairy, this one has MCTs, so coconut oil, good fats. Dairy binds the beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is a salt solution, and that together. So this is got a little bit of dairy. Tastes like an orange dreamsicle. This one's my favorite, 3.0. Helps with digestive health. No dairy in it. These are all GMO-free, soy-free. All the other ones are dairy-free. All that free. And then we've got our patent pending formulation, Keto Max, tastes like fruit punch, super yummy. It hits your system a little bit faster, lasts a little bit longer. And then our newest one, which isn't even out yet, but we'll be having soon, is the chocolate Keto Max. So it's this formulation, but it tastes like that chocolate Swiss mix, like hot cocoa, but cold. It's so good. And we do have one more product. If anybody's familiar with fat coffee, bulletproof coffee, butter and MCT oil in your coffee, we have a product called Keto Cream that you put in your coffee, mixes it up. It's got 3 different strands of MCTs. Super good for you, gets your fats up, but it will not put you in ketosis like the other ones do. It's more of an assistant, super yummy. It'll help your body start producing its own ketones, but not, like if you had to choose one, you choose one of these. So if you want more information about this, put a 5 below and I'll get back with you later. It is not all about the Keto-OS though. I'm super passionate just about helping people feel better. So sometimes I don't even like to just use like phenomenal, amazing. I just tell people I feel better. I don't take naps in the afternoon any morning. I used to take a nap every single day. I feel so good because I'm fueling my body and I'm eating to live. I'm not living to eat. So I'm fueling my body. I help my children understand the same thing, like what foods are going to make you feel better. Don't keep the garbage in your house. If you're doing it, you're setting your children up for success and you as well. I had a lady that messaged me the other day. She's like, I eat a whole bunch of sugar at night, and I just want to say, like, you have to get out of your house, because if you wake up in the middle of the night, if it's not in your house, you can't eat it. So the biggest thing is making it a lifestyle. I would love to answer any of your questions. I will let you know about the 5-day experience. I'm going to scroll back up to see if I missed any questions. And again, share what works for you. I love the product. I'm going to tell you this real quick for all of you who are skeptics and for all of you who hate the product or think that you can only do it through a diet. I'm going to nicely say this to you. There are a lot of people who can do the strict ketogenic diet. My husband did it for a long time. I thought he was crazy, and I wasn't willing to do it because I was watching how hard it was for him to get into strict nutritional ketosis. Don't tell me that everybody can do it, because I've been listening to the leading researchers and doctors, and there are people that will never get into ketosis with their diet because of lots of things. Medications they've taken. There are so many different reasons. And so why do I love this? Because it helps those people that can't get into ketosis or don't want to do the strict diet. So don't be a hater, please. Don't say, oh my goodness, you can't do that. That product doesn't work. I promise you it works. I've tracked it. I would never. I love it. I feel great as a mom. And so if you don't want to use it, don't use it. Help people with their food, and I will help you with your food as well. If you want to use the product, that's great. Again, I'm going to post the food below that we eat. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Does anybody else have any other questions that I missed? Oh, fat. Let's talk about good fats. So a lot of people are wondering how to get their fat content up. One of the biggest things that we love in our house is MCT oil. So it's like coconut oil, but it's coconut oil without the flavor. So if you just go to Amazon or your local grocery store, usually in the organic section, they have MCT oil. So I look for just 100% MCT oil. There's a whole bunch out there. And we just add a teaspoon to our food. You can put it on top of your eggs. You can put it in your keto. You can put it in lots of different things. Do not take it fast. I will tell you this. It will flush you out. So start with a teaspoon. If you wanted to, my husband, I think, sometimes takes like 2 tablespoons a day. Gets your good fats up. Nuts are great for good fats, but again, you can overdo them, so portion size them. I love eggs. I love dairy. Not everybody can do dairy, but there's lots of different things out there that you can use. So watch your butter. Margarine is not butter. Kerrygold butter is my favorite, but there's lots of other organic butters you can use as well. And I just cook all of our food in that. So you can always share below. Avocados are great. We love those. Good high fats. And I'm just making sure. I don't want to go too long. I really don't want to feel like people have to watch this. Oh, no gallbladder. So here's the deal. I'm not a doctor and I cannot give you medical advice, but I do have some research. I have some. If you go to, which I'll post below as well, to the Pruvit Facebook page, every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, there's a doctor, there is a specialist that hops on, and she does a Facebook Live just like this, but she can give you medical advice. She can tell you, hey, if you don't have a gallbladder, I've heard them say, like, you might not be able to eat as high of fats. The product, this is what she says. It's good from young to old. She says from birth, or she says from birth to grave. I don't know. I don't know exactly how she says it, but this can help anybody. It's not going to affect your medicine, but we always say, don't get off your medicine. If you have serious medical conditions, talk to your doctor and tell them what you're doing. We can give you the ingredients list, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't advise you, but I can send you some research. So if you are one of those people below that need medical, or you want to see just some medical research, just private message me, inbox me, and I'll send you some of that stuff as well. And, oh, sugar withdrawals. Okay, let's talk about my kids for a second. As I was gradually taking things away, and everybody's a little different, I have my third daughter who struggles very much. She's one of those ones that eats to live. No, lives. I get it mixed up. Her brain is always thinking about food, and I feel like certain people's bodies crave food more than others. I don't deal with it. My husband will tell you that. Every day he has to struggle and fight to not have those certain foods. That's why I can't keep it in the house. And so, yes, I did have probably 2 weeks to where my daughter was like super cranky, super crabby, but I didn't have it in the house. And when she was hungry, she grabbed what we had. And I said, grab a hard-boiled egg. We've got some great beef sticks, some cheese sticks. We keep berries in the house, so I make this strawberry sherbet. It's just frozen berries, sometimes sparkling LaCroix water or just water, ice. Sometimes I'll throw a little bit of Swerve in it. We use Swerve as a sugar replacement. Blend it up, and that's like their ice cream. Or a spoonful of peanut butter, like organic peanut butter, worked great as a little sweet treat. So there's little things you can do. Somebody asked me about fat bombs. If you Pinterest fat bombs, what are those used for? Now, don't make fat bombs if you're going to make all of them and then eat them all. The point of a fat bomb is to just put them in a little molds, and sometimes after supper when you're craving something sweet, grab one fat bomb. I do feel like if you use Swerve or a different sugar replacement, they're not as addictive. So if I have one fat bomb, I'm truly not craving 20 of them, whereas if you have like an Oreo cookie, you eat the entire sleeve. So that's what you use fat bombs for. If you want a sweet treat, go in the freezer, grab one. My kids love them. They're super great, super yummy. Pinterest has a ton of them. They're super simple, and that's what we use them for. And yes, you'll go through withdrawals, but you will make it through it. When your kids are hungry enough, they'll find something in the refrigerator to eat that you've allowed them to eat. And here's the deal as well. I do not deprive my children. We were just at my sister's house for a birthday party. I didn't know they were going to celebrate my birthday early. It's not even my birthday yet. My children had cake. We don't keep it in our home, but when we go other places, they'll be like, can I have that? I usually limit them to one piece of something or whatever it is, one cookie. But you don't want them growing up someday going off to college and binge eating. So it's educating yourself, educating your family together, and then when you're out and about, like if people serve us food, like if we get invited over for dinner and if my only option is lasagna, my husband does a really good job at scraping off the noodles. I eat it. But what's great is the next day, I have the product to get me back on track, and then I keep moving forward. What I hear often is people that do the strict keto diet for a long time, they lost a lot of fat loss, they had great success, they did it for 3, 4, 6 months, then they went on vacation, or summer came, they fell off, they didn't have something to help them get back on track the next day, then they gained all the way back 6 months later and then some. So I love it because this just helps you keep on track. If you can do it by yourself, that's great. Let's cover one more thing, and actually I was going to do a separate post on this, and I probably will tomorrow, about supplements. So when your body's in ketosis, your body's flushing out sodium, magnesium, potassium, electrolytes. You need to drink plenty of water, and I'm guilty of this. Last night I woke up screaming at 4 o'clock in the morning because I had cramps in my legs. I don't always take electrolytes. I need to, I forget, and I'm really bad at water intake. There are days I just forget. So I had crazy cramps in my legs because your body is flushing all of those out. So right away you don't have to, but eventually grab magnesium or potassium supplement, and don't be afraid to use Himalayan salt. We use Himalayan salt on all of our food. Just putting that, or you could put some in your water and drink that. Sometimes people complain of a headache. So I told myself I need to take some magnesium, potassium because I've been eating stricter than I usually had in the past. And I paid for it by waking up in the middle of the night screaming because my legs were cramped up. So I learned my lesson. We use like a calm. It's a little powder that you throw in some water and mix for magnesium, or you can just grab some potassium citrate. There's lots of different options you can use. So again, if you've got any other questions, I'm making this long. I don't want to go too long. Please private message me. Anybody that wanted a 5-day experience, I will send you some message about 5-day experiences. And yes, we will go from there. So let me know what other questions you have. I'll do another Q&A sometime soon. I will let you know all the food that we eat below, and I will let you know. So, yes, love the natural calm. That's what we take. Vegan keto. You should follow Dr. Nally because it's super funny. I'll say this lastly. I had this sweet, sweet boy at one of our conferences raise his hand. There was a whole panel of doctors, and he said, "Can I do vegan keto?" And they said, "Well, why are you vegan?" And everybody has their own reasons, and they were just Pinterest it. You just have to Pinterest it, I guess. They weren't advocates of vegan at all, but everybody's different. So they're very much advocates of eating protein or eating meats and things like that. So it's all in what you believe, while you're doing it, why you're doing it, and always just probably go back to figure out why you are doing it if it's for specific reasons or whatever. So Dr. Nally, Nally. I hope he doesn't care that I'm saying this, but I think he's great, and he shares a ton of information, very valuable. So we've been doing keto for almost 2 years. So, yep. And then water intake. Oh, Mary, are you asking about the product? You're supposed to be drinking your water at about half your weight in water in ounces. If you're asking about this, it says 12 to 15 ounces on the back, but I actually use 20 ounces of ice cold water. It's sweet, and I just like a lot of water. So I'm going to let everybody go. Where do you start? I'll post that information below, and message me if you need some more information, and I'll let you go because it's getting long. Have a great night. I'll do another one soon, and we'll talk to you later.